Okay. All right. So I'm making this video because there are a lot of thoughts in my head that I want to like put out somewhere, and I feel like the video medium helps works for me because most of my thoughts. The most surface level thoughts that I have are mostly verbal, right? They're mostly like there's a like a I think a lot of people have that like that inner monologue, as they can say. So I think in a very similar manner, uh, which is very common. That's what I'm saying. I also have that, but I feel like at this point, I need to process them. I need to express them, and you know, and because I'm not expressing them enough or something. I feel like they're getting accumulated. I kind of have this visual imagery of, let's say, like like when dams. We have seen, like the reservoir, on the water dams, hydroelectric dams, and all similar kind of dams. Like the water pressure is always building up, and a lot of the times, they let go of they have these small gates, small channels that they open so that they can ease the pressure. Some if the water that is getting accumulated is too much, especially if there is like a flood or something. So they do that. So by doing this whole process that I'm doing here right now at this given moment, um, you know that's the only reason that I'm doing. And the thing is that I've never been a normal person, I guess. Not in the sense that I'm crazy, or like I'm going out there doing things like which are unethical or antisocial or something, but like um, I have done my share of mistakes probably, but mostly uh, I've tried to be sort of sensitive, or you know generous as much as I can. But I have made mistakes, my share of mistakes, and that is the only reason why I guess I'm doing this recording. I'm trying to express myself as much as I can, and I think I feel like at this point I have no other way, or I have no other sort of platform but to express myself as it is in a very raw, rudimentary sense. I know this is boring. No one's gonna watch my videos or any of that shit. But at least I feel like if I keep making these videos, or if I keep expressing myself, at least for my own self, I'll have some content to work with. Some idea to work with, and that's the only agenda, or that's the only perspective with which I'm working at this moment. And I feel like that whatever I am, from a very existential point of view, from a very existential perspective, whatever it is that constitutes of my mind, whatever the contents of my mind are, I have to express them today, or as soon as possible, or I cannot keep waiting. Of course, nothing is guaranteed. I don't know how long I might be alive for, tomorrow or today, or whatever today is. Today is like the April 6th of April. So today might be the last day that you see me, that I'm alive, or whatever, because anything can happen, literally, right? You can, we know it's a very obvious thing. I don't need to like reiterate it. As soon as like, even I think probably as young as I was, like probably, and I know that people die, and I'll also have to die at some point. And now I'm 31, not very young, but still young enough. I still have my energy. I'm not an Olympian. I don't have maybe that level of energy or whatever, or I'm not some scientific genius. I don't have any of those skills probably. But the thing is that I think but I do want to work. I do want to express myself. I have contents in my head that I want to put out. I want to have some direction in life. I want to be a contributing member, in as much as of a big way as possible, because I feel like uh, you know because I feel like everyone has different normals, right? For somebody, you know like we talk about work life balance and stuff like that. For some people, having a thought of a balance is enough. But for some people, they need to go to an extra edge. They want to do or they want to work in a way which is much more profound, or much more from their perspective, at least. I so for me also, that's what I'm basically trying to do here. I don't know what shape or form my life or the thing that I want to do, or whatever it is that I want to do. I don't know what direction or what perspective all of that is going to take in the long run. But at least I feel like at least there is some content. At least if not anything else, at least if someone, at least I'm doing something. Because you got to do something. You cannot pause yourself. You cannot stop your life. You cannot eliminate the chaos that I think defines every one of us. So that's the only reason why I'm doing whatever it is that I'm doing. I know that nothing really amounts to anything, but again, as a contributing member, as a person who's part of this society, who's part of this world, it almost becomes, and we live in a world which has its own problems, which always has had these problems. So it's only natural that we, rather than trying to ignore them or trying to, because see, it's not about the legacy. It's not about what you make of your life, or stuff like that. Or it's not about having the best of luxury, or best of fun, or whatever. I mean, that's always a part of it, and I'm not denouncing it. I'm not saying that all that is somehow inherently bad or something. That's not what I'm getting into. But all I'm saying is that you need to be doing something which really resonates with your own self, or with your own idea of what is right and what is wrong. And for me, also, that I think is very critical and very crucial. So I do what I'm doing here, and I feel like that the first thing is, or the first movement that I have to do is at least get my thoughts out there, in some form, whether typing them out or writing them down, or speaking this way and putting it on YouTube and stuff. I mean, no one's gonna listen to me really. I know for sure. No one really cares about it. Uh, I mean, and I don't blame them. I mean, this is how YouTube works, or this is how the algorithms work. But I will try to figure something out. I will try to make something out of it, make sense out of it, if possible, in whatever shape or form. But for now, this is what I'm doing, and I think it's about just going with the process. It's all about how long you live with any process. I think that really defines how you work, or how you go through life. And the more you do something, we are results of our habit. Whatever we are, whatever as individuals, whatever shape or form, whether we are of the more quieter kind, or whether we are of the louder kind, everything is defined by who you are, or if everything is defined by how you express yourself, and the habits that you create, the practices that you make. Those are the things which essentially define you, and essentially define you know what direction you take in life overall. So my idea is also pretty similar, and I'm also kind of working with a very similar philosophy, that I just want to express myself. I don't know if I'm making sense. I don't know if I'm, if whatever I say or do will have any weightage in the long run. But it's just I just have to express. That's all I know, and I will figure out things on the go, or on the as I go along. I will try to figure whatever it is that I want to do, or don't want to do. Like I think a lot of the times, when you may not have a vision, or but you might still have like a anti-vision, right? Some things that you don't want to do, or some things you don't want your life to be end up being. Not just for yourself, for other people as well, or the place you live, or the society you live with. So all of that. So that, I think, makes a lot of difference in life. Also, I want to talk about a little bit about my own my the place where I'm from, which is Assam. I think I do have some kind of emotional connection, or emotional feeling to this land known as Assam, and I think it's only natural, maybe, to have this kind of emotion. And because I've grown up here, I've spent a lot of my, even up until now. I'm 31 right now, so from, let's say, from the age of 18 to 31, I've also spent a lot of my, not the whole of it, but like a lot of the time here in Assam. So Assam will always be dear to me. I want to know about, because Assam is very diverse. It has a lot of different languages, and a lot of different cultures and customs, traditions which reside in this location. So I do want to explore as much as I can of this place. And it's a beautiful place. It's an incredibly beautiful place, and so much of diversity, so much of complexities are there in this place. So it's only natural to be curious about it, especially when I consider it my homeland because I was born here. My ethnic roots are belong to this place. So in that sense, it's only natural for me to be curious about this place and also concerned about this place and especially the politics of this place as is going right now. So I just want to say that I want that that Assam is governed and also India at large is governed by politicians and people who are of the secular kind and also who are people who you know think about the well-being. I mean, of course, once or twice there will always be some kind of corrupt people out there, but when corruption becomes systemic, when corruption becomes a culture, like everybody who holds power offices, everyone starts to become starts becoming corrupt. I think that definitely is a cause of concern. That definitely is going to affect us all in the long run, in ways which are unimaginable, and it is already happening. It's already happening. I don't want to go into names or I don't want to go into people. I'm not strong enough to really defend myself that way, like politically, legally, or otherwise. But all I'm gonna say is that we have, you know, we keep hearing all these allegations against a lot of different people and so much of money. Like I mean, it's so hard for people to even earn like the littlest of money, like 1,000 rupees. Even for people to earn that is sometimes difficult. But here we are. We see people um, who are like embezzling. I don't know what's the right word, but like they're accumulating thousands and thousands of crores. It's just weird as hell. I mean, nothing can be more weirder, more absurd and dystopian. I mean, this is already a kind of dystopia that we're living in. This is a democracy. I mean, if I mean, of course, I'm not questioning the institutions of democracy itself or the. I mean, of course, maybe there are laws that we need more laws or more, referendums and stuff we need to maybe secure the democratic and human rights of the individual people who are part of this country, whether I'm talking about Assam or whether I'm talking about India. Uh, I mean, that's always important. That always makes sense. But I think at the same time, it's also very crucial and very critical that we I mean, because see, the thing is that even if no matter how many laws we make, it's also important that we be aware, that what's really going on. And I think information is really key here. I mean, today in the age of social media, yeah, we do have a lot of connectivity. Every single person has a mobile phone, and they're able to get themselves informed about a lot of different things. But at the same time, it's also very critical and also very crucial that we be aware of a lot of other things. I mean, what information is actually right and what information is wrong. But unfortunately, there's a whole lot of misinformation happening, and like a lot of people say, the whole echo chamber thing that's happening, it's causing it's a huge cause of concern. I mean, at least in the olden times, at least there was some kind of some common ground that people used to fall into. But today, in today's time, it's almost gone, and that's really sad and that's really unfortunate. To whatever is happening, and I just hope that sooner or later, things go for the better. I mean, I'm not talking about a 100% change. I mean, I don't expect a 100% change overnight. I mean, even for my own self, I mean, I might have a lot of things that I'm trying to fix about my own self. So I know I haven't been able to so far, at least. I mean, I have not been able to change things overnight, or even if I start changing things, it's gonna take a while. I know that for a fact. But what I'm just trying to say here is that, it's still kind of concerning. It's still kind of worrying, the way things are happening. The amount of money that people are, using and, like for their own personal gains and like, exploiting the poor people, the common people, the pyramid is absolutely skewed. The wealth inequality pyramid is absolutely skewed. And then there's also all these money, corruption money and everything. It's really unfortunate that the world has come down to this. Even if you talk about, some international matter like the Epstein files or some local local issues like what Assam is facing right now, no matter what you talk about, the fact that these are very serious allegations and these are serious issues really talks about the way people are getting exploited. People are hungry for even to live by. I mean, of course, I mean things have become a little better over time. I would say because overall, compared to let's say in the 1950s or something, like 100 years ago or 50 years ago, from compared to that, at least, yes, we do have better lives and better opportunities and better technology, and we have solution to a lot of the problems. We have been able to solve or treat or eradicate a lot of problems as a whole of society. I'm not just talking about a single country or a single community, but as a whole, we have been able to do that, and which is really amazing. What we have been able to achieve over the of a long or short time, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, I think it's pretty concerning that that still there's a long way to go. It's still concerning that the sheer amount of wealth inequality that exists in the society is absolutely concerning. I mean, we have to be aware. We need to be aware. The world needs to be aware. And if we're not aware, if we are not concerned, if we are not conscious about what is going on in the world, it's just gonna go downhill. Or maybe, whatever we have achieved so far as a human race, it might just vanish all of a sudden. I mean, it's very unfortunate that even today we are fighting, we're having wars. I mean, I thought it was all in the past, because, like for example, when I was growing up, when I used to look at this particular decade, the 2020s, as a time where we enter into some kind of a fantastic future. And I thought it's only natural that the world become more liberal, the world will be more developed, the world will be more and more peaceful. I mean, in a way it is. In a way it is in general. I would say yes. We do talk about topics which probably we didn't even talk about. I mean, at least, I mean, there might be a lot of opposition today for a lot of different topics and issues, but at least we can say that we at least we are talking about things, even if we have not been able to solve the problems. At least we can say that we have achieved certain benefit or certain you know success. But at the same time, there's a whole long distance that we have to go. Or I mean, as we go along, there are new problems that are getting created. I mean, and we cannot really ignore them, right? Like for example, the I was talking about the whole wealth inequality thing. We cannot really ignore that, because there's so many poor people out there, and they do need the opportunities. They do need the thing. You know, we cannot. I mean, the future cannot be only about the rich people. That cannot be. That's not. That if that's happening, I mean, that's a lie that we're living. We're telling people a lie. We're telling the world a lie that that we are doing good. We're not. I mean, if a huge chunk of the population remains poor, if the huge chunk of the population cannot even see some of the basic, like facilities, if they cannot have access to that, I mean, that's hugely concerning. But that is the truth that we're dealing with right now. Okay, so I'm gonna now shift to Assamese. I'm gonna speak in Assamese for a while now, or maybe okay, I'll make a different video for that. Okay, I'm ending this video here, and I'll make an Assamese, wholly Assamese video just for the sake of it. Yeah, and also because it's my mother tongue. Yeah.